Hi, everybody, and welcome to Latitude Live. I'm Alison Evans, the founder of Latitude IT. Because of Women's International Week this week, starting on Monday, I just wanted to showcase some really fantastic women that we work with. And I thought, what an awesome place to start with one of our very own and finest, Cheryl Bolanos. Cheryl will kick off our little mini series of podcast chats with women in the industry that we work with. And yeah, I thought because of all the work that Cheryl's done with our organisation, what a great person to talk to. So thanks so much, Cheryl, for chatting with me on our first little mini podcast series. I'll just run through a few questions and just love to hear about your insights about the recruitment industry. So tell me, how did you start your career in finance and how did you land in recruitment? Everyone lands in it somehow.
Well, thanks, Alison, for having me. Well, my background is in accounting and administration within the building and construction industry. And back in 2008, I used to work for an office fit-out company that used a recruitment agency. And one of the consultants by the name of Jamie Lewis placed my now husband in a role there. And he still jokes with me today about that was his best placement ever. And his fantastic matchmaking skills.
Yeah.
A few years later, in 2013, I started at Designer Construct as an office manager, and it was doing, I guess, the accounting and finance for the agency back then. And back then, the office was a team of 6 and 4 filing cabinets full of paperwork. It was I guess not up to scratch where things are today. So I learned a lot about recruitment from the director. Yeah. We sat in a small room together and bounced a lot of ideas off each other. So it was, I guess, every day being in a room with him and hearing how everything works is what I've learned, I guess, about recruitment.
Yeah, it's very much an on-the-job thing sometimes, isn't it?
It is, yes, it is. And you do fall into it. It was not something that I've expected in my career. And within five years, we moved head office twice and opened about 5 offices and had 65 staff. Mm-hmm. So my role changed significantly over the years and moved, I guess, away from the office manager role into operations and managing a team of 8 staff. Mm-hmm. So, but now I'm at Latitude IT and pursuing the recruitment agency dream all over again.
Absolutely.
Yes, and this time I've got the industry experience.
Yeah, absolutely, which we've been really fortunate to secure from you with your skills. What have you sort of seen over the last years in terms of culture and people in the industry? I think there's been a lot of shift. I've noted in my career, being in it for 10 years now. What about you? Tell me about what you've seen.
I've noticed that career progression was really important to start with, but now it's more about company culture and flexible work options. Latitude has both of these and more, and they definitely rally towards women in leadership as well as seeking, balanced profit with purpose, which is very important these days.
Yeah, that messaging is so important for us, and you've really helped us shape a lot of that as well. In terms of innovation with us, you've been sat with our other director, James, who's the absolute ideas man and the innovator. Tell me about some of the stuff that you have been working on that's been really exciting.
We've been working on recruitment automation. We've implemented a program or 2 programs called Zapier and Airtable, which help us support and enhance the modern techniques of recruiting. It alleviates the tedious manual tasks and helps the team focus on the job at hand and, has the human element behind what is required.
Yeah, we've seen some really cool things with that, and it just seems to just happen in the background and work seamlessly. I know it's been quite a lot of work for you to understand how to piece it all together from a process point of view. Can you give us has it been a steep learning curve for you to do that?
A little steep, but constant learning curve.
Yeah. And what's been the sort of trickiest thing to kind of work out in terms of making an automation process flow? Is it the products or is it the process?
Um, Probably just trying to put all the bits together to find out the process and trying to get the information from the recruiters about the procedures, and put the flow together so that it all works.
Can you give us an example of a flow for a recruiter that might be interesting to other agency owners?
Um,
There's quite a few.
probably just knowing when the invoice is going to get paid, for
Oh,
example.
yeah.
So, commission is driven on invoices paid, and the consultants would normally approach the accounts team to see if the invoices have been paid yet, in order for them to be released commission. So I've automated a procedure where the consultants would find out if the invoice has been paid live as soon as the money is in the bank.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'd be absolutely loving that bit of insight and where it's coming from. So that's awesome. What has been the most rewarding thing that you've implemented or worked on with Latitude, or even in your career?
Oh, I would definitely have to say the automation. I really like the challenge, and when I'm presented with a workflow procedure and I'm able to create a zap for it and see it in action.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's a bit over my head, but I'm glad that it's working and we can all use it and see it in flight. So it's very great. Where do you see the industry heading?
I think, artificial intelligence or automation, whatever you want to call it, is inevitable, but it's definitely going to have an impact on the way the recruitment industry is heading. There's always going to be a need for the human element, but the manual tasks will be automated.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think just having this seamless interaction between tech and our candidates and our clients, it's just making our lives a lot easier than having to do all this, slightly tedious paperwork, but also really looping through that feedback piece. I think as we're starting to improve our processes internally, creating that better feeling for our candidates that are in an interview process or, are onboarding with us or onboarding with a contract is really cool. And we're getting some really great comments from our the people that we've placed. So I think all this background work, as long as it takes, is really just one sec. I'm just going to turn on the video again. Just as this background work takes a while, it's really showing some really great rewards and some comments, which is really cool. And just to wrap up, what would you say to other women leaders or people that wanting to step into tech, coming from all that finance and ops space? How would you kind of go about changing your career, really? Like, you're kind of heading into this sort of automation, digital, innovation space. What would you suggest?
Oh, go for it. You won't regret it. It will change your life, and learn from your peers. Work smarter, not harder, and enjoy the journey.
Yeah, excellent. And any other bits of info that you want to share for International Women's Recognition and so forth that you're working on, that is some background projects, some little sneaky bits of information can you share about that?
Well, Latitude IT working on, I don't know if I should say this.
There's some cool stuff coming. All right. Well, look, I think don't go there because I think it's another conversation once we've got it up and running, but there's some really cool stuff to help women really understand their value in the market, understand the ways that they can really accelerate their careers and so on. So I think we'll definitely have to have another little conversation later. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for being an integral part of our leadership team. We don't know what we could do without you, or would do without you, I should say. You've helped us with heaps of processes and running a really tight ship that's really like modern and innovative, and we're very grateful for that. So thank you so much, and happy International Women's Day for Monday.
Oh, thank you, Alison. You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.